Okay, so what we want to do on this is we want to come down your neck and feel for kind of knots. This is tight. But when you get a knot in here, start, you can do both sides at the same time or just one, but start gently on the knot and just start rubbing gently with your thumb, and then press harder and hold it. And then Amy, you need to breathe out real slow and drop your shoulders and relax. And just do all your breathing that way. And then the knot will relieve. And you can feel for another knot. Right there is a real good one. So I'm going to go down just a little lower to see where it starts. It starts right there. So I'm going to hold it with my thumb. They're a little lower today than they have been. And then then gently press harder as it starts to relax. And you'll feel the bulge gone. And you move your finger up and find it again. And when it releases, you just hold it till it releases.
How can you tell when you found it?
It will actually roll. A knot will quite often, if it's in the tendon, like this tendon here, it will roll under your thumb or your fingertips, whichever you're using. At the moment I'm using my thumb because my fingers are sore. But it's moved up about an inch or so up your back. Keep your breathing that way. What that does is letting oxygen to your muscles and letting you relax at the same time.
Just making a sound.
And you can do that all the way up your back. Using that same technique, you go up here on the neck.
See this?
Yeah. You can go use that same technique up the neck and through the shoulders. Quite often you have them in here. This morning they're not as tight. Going up through the neck and do it. You never want to press right under the jaw too hard in here because it's too close to the artery and you can press that artery closed and cut down the blood flow, which is not good. Now, I don't know if okay, just stand there a second. I don't know if they stand like you are. All right, camera, can you see my thumb jumping?
Yeah.
There's a tendon right there that we're going to work on. So I'm going to start here, going down, check where the end of it. Okay, it's there, but it's not too bad right here. So I'm going to press with my thumb or fingertips right there on that spot. And she'll do her breathing. And then I get tighter as she does, and the muscle relaxes. Start gentle, and then you press harder as it releases. And it's starting to release. So we just keep doing that. Take deep breath. And I'll apply a little more pressure. As I feel that muscle relaxing, then that's when you put more pressure on. And look, see, that muscle doesn't rock as bad under my thumb. Okay, I'm going to apply more pressure. Okay, I'm going to check now. Okay, stand like this. Okay, it's right there. Can you see it bouncing?
Okay.
I think in the camera can pick
Yeah,
that up.
yeah.
Okay, so we need to press that, but I don't want to press too hard. So start, because it's loosened up. And if you press here, you can see the bulge starts here. So we need to work on that. And you take in breathing. A lot of times this works nice if they're sitting in the chair for the neck because it lets them totally relax. Okay, I'm going to leave this muscle for a little while because you don't want to overdo it, and it still wants to bounce right here. But I'm going to leave it for a little bit and work on other muscles and come back to that one. So now I'm going to have you move down the spine like this. Go down a ways and you're fine. Down and work your fingers up. See if you see any of those, feel any of those muscle bulgings, like one right here is just kind of about the size of my little fingernail right there. But those are sometimes the ones that get bigger. So you start gentle, hold it while she does deep breathings, the relaxing breathings, until they work their way out. It can take anywhere from just a minute to...
Do they always move?
Eventually. Now this one up here is really tight, so it's going to take more work on it. But because of the time of filming, you don't want to...
Yeah.
We'll work on it some more after we're done filming. But this one right here is a little tight. This also comes up here, affects this one.
Wow.
So if I get these worked out, the same thing with the lower down and through here. Always working up with the pressure. So down here you massage gently with your thumbs or fingertips. And when you find a knot, like right here, then start applying pressure. I'm going to use my thumb because my fingers are sore. Just keep doing her pressure and then just add pressure to it as it goes. Start gentle and then work toward, when you feel that muscle starting to ease up, you press a little harder until the knot's gone.
So it moves around until it disappears?
It just kind of dissolves. The knot dissolves. So you just work that all the way up the back, through the shoulder blades and the neck, wherever you find a spot. Sometimes there'll be points here, but you do need to be a little more careful right in through here because you get close to those jugular veins and arteries. Now she has knots right here.
Is it pointing this way?
She has knots right here in the forward of the neck. So I'm going to turn her right in here, and it needs to be gentle because you're getting awful close to those arteries, and gently rub those. And they can be done with a thumb finger pinch gently, but if you push too hard you can cut blood flow a little too much and it can make her dizzy. So that's kind of the power pressure points. And up here then by the base of the skull, and like I said, you have to be careful because you can cut blood flow off. If I'm forward on that neck or too far back here, there's blood flow there. So you need to be careful with that. You kind of rub that gently.
Feels so good.
Now she has quite a knot right here. And so to get that, I would use fingertips on that. There's a knot right there. And use fingertips, rubbing it toward the top of the, as it eases up. Take your deep breaths. Encourage her to always do the deep breathing. Do the whole time, do the breathing like that. And just think, relax. As you exhale, you think, relax, because that lets toxins out of the body. And you work that on up and on out till it disappears. And it'll just start relaxing and let loose. And around the neck, it usually takes longer. If they're harder knots, which they are today, and I'll work on them some more after we're done filming.
Thank you.
And you can do that in the skull if you ever get a headache. There's areas in the skull. Everybody's skull is different and has different indents. She's got one right there. And if she gets a headache, feel it to see if it's bulging and gently rub it because your veins are close to the top there. A lot of times ice will help relieve those.
Can you do that to yourself?
You can massage your own head. Yes,
Okay.
I do it all the time.
Okay.
So, but always work to the top because once you work to the top,
I work towards
it
the top. Okay.
it brings it out of the body.
Okay.
Okay?
Awesome. Thank you.
Gentle touch. Gentle touch going to stronger pressure is the best. You talk to the muscle telling it to relax and then you enforce it. But you start gentle and then enforce. It'll work.